Out of control. If you want to get obsessed with a manhwa and don't even want to get over it for days, then go for this one. The way this series makes you love the characters is so fascinating, and even you would love to be in such kind of relationship. While it feels pretty amazing at some scenes, it hits you emotionally with the rest moments. Not just beautiful moments but also tons of romantic scenes. And the art is so perfect, it just hits so different. If you're thinking to read this boys love manhwa, leave the second thoughts, and do it right away. So anyways, it's about an ugly guy who wanted to be president of their school. And of course there's this handsome guy who become the vice president. Take note that the ugly guy didn't become the president, but to make story short, the handsome guy fall for the ugly guy. But the seem it not really ugly, his cute, and that's his period. BJ Alex. In this manhwa you will get both cute and steamy moments. Both the main characters sculpt the manhwa into perfection. In my opinion, it has a very unique style and art considering the body and clothing of the characters. So it's about Dong Gyun, who has a habit of locking himself up in his room at 10 every night to watch someone's live stream, who happened to be hosted by Alex. Alex is a broadcast jockey who does pretty much weird things on a live camera. So then school started and Dongyun got invited to drink with his seniors. In a drunk state, his senior Jiwon said he will be the one to get Dongyun home. As they go to Dongyun apartment, he accidentally throws up to Jiwon clothes. So he changed his clothes to Dongyun apartment, but in Dongyun shock, he saw his senior birthmark on his left tummy that is similar to BJ Alex. I have nothing more to say for the sake of those people who still didn't read this. H&H Roman Company. It's a short BL manhwa that knows how to deal with the explicit content with cuteness. So go ahead and fall in love with this. Ginger is the main character in this romance/fantasy boys love webtoon. The story is super interesting and comes as it goes with not much plot deepening. Heaven and Hell Roman Company is a company made by God to stop unemployment problems in heaven and hell. Humans are continuously developing and they no longer need the help of any of those two. Ginger is a shy boy who deals with bullying because he is an angel-demon hybrid. I still don't know what's wrong with people accepting. He only has one friend, Rum, whom he is in love with. The point is for Ginger to confess his feelings and having the fear of losing his only friend. The story is cute and has many side characters whose lives are as interesting as the main couples. It's like two couples in one story. The sweetness of this whole comic especially lies in the art style and plotting, which is beautifully done. It is a must-read. The explicit scenes are also very graceful and do not give you ew moments. Window to Window. A very sweet romance story of Jinu and Yubin. They are childhood friends who live in different buildings but adjacent apartments where they can communicate through the windows. The key feature and essence causing the name of this manhwa to form. Yubin is in love with Jinu since forever and Jinu is oblivious to all this. It gives a ride to a good cliché comedy concept of getting flustered without the other one knowing why, as the shell is supposed to be broken. One day Jinu sees Yubin doing something not so innocent through his window. This causes Jinu to get curious and thus the story moves further. This BL manhwa is a sweet addition to BL manhwa and boys live webtoons present in the list. Make Me Bark. If you're the kind of person who prefers a simple plot with a lot of moments, then this boys love manhwa is the one you need to read right now, and it isn't like any other yaoi manhwa you've read until now. The art and story are decent while the characters make it way more interesting. It is a quick read and you can get over it very easily, or in other words, it doesn't affect you mentally. So make sure to add this boys love manhwa to your list right now. Anyways, it's about Sing-jun, who lives a satisfactory life even though he earns money just enough to afford a small and cheap place. Still he loves to live like that, thinking that having something is better than nothing. But one day when he discovers that his place caught fire, he gets in a tough position and unfortunately he doesn't know any person in the city to help him until he can afford a place. But then he finds out that one of his university mates who is quite rich is looking for a roommate, or more like something. Royal Servant. It's a story about Kion who becomes a servant to royal blood Lucan. His master's dislike towards servants is off-putting, but doesn't dishearten Kion from continuing to serve and work for him. As time continues, Kion starts to unknowingly make his way into Lucawan's personal life. It has a very intriguing plot. This story is in a totally imaginative world but can catch your attention nicely. And the art is so hot plus artistic, especially the sweet scene. I could say this is a must-read. A Guy Like You. Another fantasy boys love manhwa on the list, but with a good premise. This manhwa has a solid plot and some irreplaceable moments that you can't compare to the other ones. The story takes unexpected turns as you go through the chapters. So if you want a boys' love manhwa to keep you entertained through every chapter, then go with this. Kong Jina constantly appears in the dream of Go Shiwan. As you can expect, there is a reason for that, and Jina mentions a particular incident whenever he visits him in the dream. Even though it is a mere dream, it feels too real for him. Killing Stalking. This is the real thing every manhwa lover must read. Where do I even start to explain this? It is a highly intense manhwa that'll keep you on the edge of the seat. Even though it has some serious scenes, the story is fascinating and the characters are really great. At some point, it becomes insane how it paces and makes you feel tense too. We got to hand it to the author for writing such a great story and making it so intense. So, we recommend this intense BL manhwa for you to read right now. I'm not gonna tell you what is inside this manhwa, so read it. Trust me when I say this is the best. False Memories. Does it matter whether it's a love between two same or opposite gender as long as it is pure? To defend the above statement, I recommending this amazing manhwa to you. This webtoon has pretty good art, and characters are drawn so realistically. So if you're looking for a boys' love manhwa that has a good story with lighthearted and emotional moments, then this one is for you. Although Nakano and Suda are best friends in high school, they didn't speak to each other for 10 years. The reason behind this is nothing else, but Suda broke Nakano's heart for some reason and it left a huge scar in his life. As the fate decides, they become together thanks to a work project their teacher did. Love as an Illusion is a love-hate type of manhwa with an incredible art and compelling characters. You might find some frustrating scenes in the manhwa, but there are way too many sweet moments for you to read this. It has a good premise, characters, and art. There is only one thing that should be improvised, and believe me, the presentation of the concept is simply amazing. It is one of the best boys' love manhwas of all time. The story is about Hae-sung who believe he's an alpha but turn out he's an lowly omega. So one time he goes to a party as a waiter, where he cross path with Dojin, a dominant alpha who dislike omega and only date beta, and of course the magic happened and this and that. At the first chapter of this manhwa you might feel lost because of the alpha-omega thing, but you will slowly understand it as the story goes. And by the way, I like the side couple more. I mean Dojin brother and Dojin assistant or secretary something. Blood Bank is a world where vampires rule over humans. However, even in these superior creatures, there are abnormal species that prefer to be ruled by humans. One becomes a blood banker where they sell blood for vampires, while Shell is the son of an overlord who owns the bank where one working. You should read this to witness the stunning relationship of high-ranking vampire and a banker. This is a huge, breathtaking boys' love manhwa. It can definitely makes you want more chapter once you finish it. Cherry Blossoms After Winter. Unlike the ones you've seen until now, the relationships in this boys' love manhwa had a time frame to explain themselves clearly. If anything else, you'll only regret it for not having more chapters. So I recommend you to read this amazing boys' love manhwa at least once. Cause I know for a fact that when you started reading this you can never get over, and you will look for more chapter. So anyways, it's about Haebom and Taesung who were best friends when they were young but soon they grew distant. And the reason is the tragedy that happened between their families who lived under the same roof for 10 years. When Haebom is still a kid his mom died in an accident, so he's staying to his mom's best friend house since that incident, who happened to be Taesung mom. I am not gonna say much in this one cause the story is really interesting for you to read. So I don't want to spoil anyone, but I know most of you already read it and still want it for more chapters, so I am.